Hi everyone. For this final assignment, I will be discussing the final dissertation topic lesson plan. So for my problem statement, the dissertation problem statement that I am going with is that preschool teachers are not trained to implement social emotional learning into curriculum. This results in ineffective social emotional learning practices within the curriculum with no way to measure social emotional learning growth in students. And to support children's development and future success, early childhood educators in early childhood education must acknowledge the significant role that plays in social emotional learning in helping children acquire the critical abilities like self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. Early childhood educators and teachers must understand how to properly implement social emotional learning and how to accordingly measure that growth in students. The significant problem with this is that the specific dissertation will be addressing that preschool teachers are not adequately and properly trained on how to implement social emotional learning within the curriculum and understand the importance of it. Additionally, there is no way to measure social emotional learning and growth in students. For this lesson plan, the audience that will be targeted would be specifically educators, those working in early childhood education, teachers, school administrators, directors, and of course, parents. So, let's see. So the goal that I would want to demonstrate from this lesson plan is demonstrating the importance of social emotional learning within early childhood education and articulate why understanding social emotional learning and how to implement that in curriculum, why that is so important, and why it's a skill that must be learned to measure within students. So for this lesson plan, there will be a bunch of different criteria, starting with a formative assessment. So for the pre-assessment surveys, this will be implemented for teachers. So before teaching a social emotional learning lesson or principle, this will give learners teachers questionnaires and surveys on how they comprehend the subject matter of social emotional learning, how they feel about it, and ask them what their current knowledge is about social emotional learning. Then for the second part of this formative assessment, there would be classroom discussions. So involving the students within talking about social emotional learning, its elements, how it relates to their lives. This will invite students to talk about their experiences, provide examples on social emotional learning, and help them in different circumstances. This will happen in different groups. So for the first part, there will be 4 students in each group. They would talk about their experiences, what they know, their learning. And then after that, after each group discusses with one another their personal viewpoints, then we would come together as a class and we would talk about it to provide more in-depth conversation. So the second part of this would be a summative assessment. So written assessments will be given to learners or research papers on how to really discuss what social emotional learning means to them. And this can be with early learners within, we're talking elementary school, but if we're specifically talking about preschool, this can be done in different ways. More easier, comprehensive ways, obviously not papers, but this would be more conversations one-on-one as a summative assessment with the teacher and with the students, just to regulate where the students' knowledge is in terms of social emotional learning. Presentations can be addressed as well. This can be done for various age groups, such as preschool to older elementary students. Then they would connect the learning connections within students. We would reflect on what we know, and this would help teachers create more of a reflective viewpoint on what they know and how to assess the social emotional learning given. So the focus on the lesson would be the fundamentals of social emotional learning, which is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relational skills, and responsible decision making. These are all very crucial to understanding social emotional learning. During all these activities, there will be various techniques that will be utilized to help students understand what social emotional learning is, as well as educators. So the students will play off of the educators will play off the students to really understand what social emotional learning is all about. After the lesson, the various formative assessment procedures will give students and teachers information on what they retain from social emotional learning to provide educators with a better understanding of what social emotional learning is and how to implement that into curriculum. Thank you.